Hi everyone, and welcome to this meditation session. We will first get back to our senses, so to speak, get more embodied, and I'll explain why that is important a bit later. Then we'll do a period of formal meditation practice, and then we'll have time to reflect, debrief, share our observations, questions, and whatnot. So before we get into stillness, I actually encourage you to do the opposite, to begin moving slowly and trying to actually get back to your senses, literally, to feel whatever there is to feel with your bodies, the way you sit, the way you touch the ground, the way you feel the clothes touching your skin, and the way you move. And try and notice any blank spots, any parts of the body that are hard to feel or that you're not sensing them at all. And try to bring more awareness to those parts. Now, how can we do that? Well, for starters, we can do it by engaging those parts in movement. So when they're still, they're blank, probably. But then if you stretch that part, if you move that part ever slightly, you can begin feeling it. And then when you stop moving, you can still feel something there. So check whether that's the case. So stretching, twisting, moving, turning, and so on. The second way is to touch. So by touching, we enhance the information flow, the feedback from that part. Touching softly, warmly, caringly, and by that, actually starting to feel that touch, that warmth in that part, and then releasing the touch, we can probably still feel some kind of afterglow, something happening there. And the third way we can begin to feel those blank places, blank spots, is by tensing and then releasing. So we can tense that part, squeeze it, hold it for a few seconds. By that, the sensations intensify, and then we let go. But still, there could be some afterglow there that we can notice, that we can spot. So see if that is the case. Take time to move, take time to stretch, to touch, to squeeze and release. Don't rush, actually slow down. Don't do it mindlessly, do it mindfully. Or we could say intentionally. And at any moment, you can just pause for a second, take in the body as a whole, all the sensations from the ground, from the tips of your toes to the temple, to the roof of your head. And see whether there are any blank spots to fill in, and do so, fill in. Feel them in by engaging them in movement, by touching them, if it's possible to reach those parts. Or you can squeeze, hold, and release. Now, the way we approach meditation here is non-dogmatic, meaning that I'm not in a position of authority to tell you that is the right way to practice. Okay, do that to achieve enlightenment. But rather we explore, we experiment, and we experience by ourselves. Meaning that don't take my words for granted, check them, test them, see whether it's true, whether it's working. Now, in this session, we will explore 3 aspects of every meditation. Or you can say we will engage in 3 kinds of actions, 3 kinds of things that we do to make a meditation experience or a contemplative state possible. The first is stability, the second is clarity, and the third is care or love, if you wish. Now, stability in meditation is important, and it's bodily stability, it's emotional stability, it's attentional stability, or the ability to stay with the chosen object for any amount of time. When we become more stable, things become more clear. So stability facilitates clarity. But then both stability and clarity are kind of meaningless without care or without love. So that is the meaning of meditation, to become more kind, to become more open, to become more accepting and flexible at the same time. So we'll explore all those 3 aspects and how they facilitate each other, how they enhance each other. But while the goal of meditation to cultivate our hearts and minds, it's quite hard to directly influence the mind. We cannot say our thoughts to stop. We cannot demand our thoughts to stop, or we cannot just switch whatever we feel at the moment. We're sad now, okay, now I'm happy. So a more indirect approach, or a better approach maybe, is to first get some bodily stability. That's why we get back into our senses, and that's why meditation posture usually is kind of important in formal practice. So after attuning better to our bodily sensations, after embodying ourselves more, we can proceed to building our meditation posture. And it begins with a steady and firm foundation. So check whether you could sit in a way that's stable, a broad foundation with your knees preferably touching the ground. I won't go into all the posture details right now. So sit comfortably. If your knees are pointing upwards, then just make sure you have something to support them, maybe a pillow or something that you put under your knees. You can sit if in half lotus if you want, or full lotus if you can. If that's what you're used to, then by all means, please do. Or you can just sit cross-legged, but that would probably interfere. So a better way would be to place your legs one in front of the other without crossing. And then tilt forward slightly, move your pelvis, twist your pelvis forward a little bit, and then straighten up. So by creating this little curve in the lower spine, we actually create a more stable structure for our bodies. A more stable structure means that we can experience more stability. So check whether that is the case. Do you feel more stability? And if not, try to adjust your posture in a way that you begin to feel more stability. Okay, a broad foundation down there. A feeling of touch, of equal pressure on the left side, on the right side. You can sway a little bit sideways and back to front. And notice the vertical axis that you cross each time, the central line that you cross each time. Okay. And at a certain point, just stay there in this vertical line, this vertical axis. So that's the stability aspect. Now, I invite you to sigh a few times. Just deep, deep sigh. Vocalizing it with the sound of ah. So it's not just hissing, it's not just the air, which creates more tension. And it's not just the sound of a, it's not which creates more tension. It's a sigh, like you would sigh after a long day, after a long trek in the jungle. When all that you had to do is already done, you don't have to do anything else. You can just let it go, relax. But in this case, we relax into this posture. So keeping this vertical alignment, keeping the awareness of touch down there, we sigh into this posture, letting go, releasing all the tensions that we can notice, all the additional tensions that are not required for this posture. So for example, you can notice this wave of relaxation going up to bottom, top to bottom. So the face, the forehead, the area around your eyes, the jaw, the shoulders, the belly, the pelvic floor, releasing, and you can help yourselves to soften even more into this posture by first aligning your head. Usually it means that we move our chin closer to the front of our neck. So check if you can spot when the jaw begins to relax when we do this movement. The jaw and the back of our heads softening and kind of stretching outwards. Then the shoulders. So by sighing, we kind of accompany them, see them melting sideways and downward. Then the abdomen, and then the anus and the pelvic floor. If you cannot spot the difference, if you cannot spot relaxation in that area or any other area, you can squeeze it, tighten it in and upwards, hold it for a while, and then release. And again, notice the quality of stability and try to slow down so that not to move, not to change this posture at all for a while, for a few moments. Just check whether this stillness of your body facilitates more stillness of your emotions, of your emotional state. And breathe naturally, breathe normally. Now, the second aspect is clarity. So we can attune more to whatever is happening at the present moment. So feel yourself breathing, feel yourself touching the ground and all the parts of the body touching each other, the clothes touching your skin, the wind, the temperature. Is it cold? Is it hot? Are you pulsating? Is the body pulsating, vibrating maybe ever slightly or strongly? Can you recognize the heartbeat, the breathing? Notice that together with those bodily sensations, you can actually hear everything that's happening around you. The sound of this motorboat passing by, the sound of cicadas, the sound of the waves of the ocean. And the clarity aspect means that we recognize it, that we notice it, that we take time to experience it, to live through all that, all these bodily sensations, all these sounds. And if you want, you can include the visual field as well. So check what's happening in front of you, in front of your eyes or behind your closed eyes, whatever's the case. And notice that all the bodily sensations, all the sounds, and everything that you see in front of your open or closed eyes is already being experienced, so that you don't need to try and stretch your attention to include that all. But just the opposite, you relax into it. Because all of these experiences are already here, are already a part of what's happening to us and the totality of what's happening to us. So we can just open to this totality and relax into this totality of experience. And this is where we can add the third aspect to the mix, which is kindness or softness or love. So we are not impartial observers. We're not just lifeless video cameras that tape this experience, but we actually live through that. It is our life. This is the precious moment that we have a luxury of experiencing, witnessing, embodying. So what would be a beneficial stance towards our experience and this only present moment? How would we cultivate care? Everything that we can find out about ourselves, about the world, is in this present moment. It's not a minute ago. It's not in a minute in the future. It's right here. Everything that we can find out, from the surface knowledge to our Buddha nature, enlightenment, whatever that is, it's right here, nowhere else. Whatever we can engage in, whatever we can embody, whatever we can do, whatever we can exercise, we exercise right here in this very moment. So check whether what you're exercising is tensing, is resisting, is laziness, is distraction, is scatteredness. And if yes, ask yourself, what would be a more beneficial state, a more beneficial skill to exercise? And we begin by exercising stability. So feeling this posture, breathing through all kinds of experiences, however unpleasant or pleasant they are, opening up to them, towards them. We exercise balance, we exercise equanimity, exercise openness. By being aligned and centered, we exercise being engaged, and maybe feeling this noble posture, so to speak. So there is a sense of a more dignified or noble approach to life, to whatever we feel, hear, or see. So check whether you can actually spot that dignity and nobleness. Now, by being relaxed, by being soft and warm, we actually exercise, embody those qualities as well. So, being soft towards ourselves, bodily sensations, towards our thoughts, towards whatever we feel, towards the world. And whenever you feel any tension, I invite you to sigh more. And check again the stability aspects, the clarity aspect, and the softness aspect. And if you've been practicing with your eyes closed, I invite you to open them, but to continue the practice for a little longer. So check whether the same set of principles apply to our ordinary life, our ordinary way of being. So now, in a more casual way, you can look around, you can move slightly, and check whether, while doing so, you can still be in contact with more stability, more centeredness, more expanded open awareness, more softness. You can smile at things, at me, at yourselves, at each other. All right. And if you are getting carried away by thoughts, by your trains of thoughts, gently bring your awareness back to these sensations of stability, touch, pressure against the ground, to the clarity aspects, noticing how you breathe, noticing how your clothes touch the skin, the sounds, the sights. And notice your attitude towards all that while you're being more stable, more grounded, more relaxed, more soft. What changes? Or what do you add to the mix by smiling and being soft and open? and stable. All right, that's it for today. Thank you so much. Thank you for this precious time that you took to explore these aspects of meditation together. And let's share and discuss whatever you noticed, your observations, your questions. Thank you.